Tim Booth, the AP writer for Seattle, joins us. Tim, how are you today, my friend?
I'm in the chaos of a airport that's being completely remodeled, and it's a complete disaster right now.
Hey,
but
man,
otherwise, I'm great. How are you guys?
we got one of those down here too. Our airport was named 2 or 3 time best airport in America, and right now it's just a construction zone.
Yeah, SeaTac is kind of the same right now. It's not an enjoyable place really to go in and out of at this moment. So I feel for you guys and what you got going on at PDX too.
Yeah, where you headed right now?
A little place called Las Vegas to enjoy the last Pac-12 tournament before the entire conference just collapses into oblivion.
Ooh, that makes me jealous. We called you to talk Seahawks, but knowing you're going to the Pac-12 tourney, and as a Wazoo grad, I might sneak something in a little bit later for you. But let's get into the Seahawks real quick as the draft is coming up. Looking around, I mean, obviously Geno's at quarterback, but there are no other quarterbacks currently on the roster. There looks to be some kind of real thin lines in the linebacker position. What is Seattle's number one priority going into the draft?
Well, I think if you're looking from the outside, and if you're a fan who is ready for something new, you're probably screaming quarterback because of the quarterbacks that are available this year, and the fact that, kind of doing the math on it, there's a very good chance a guy like Michael Penix might be available to you, whether you're picking at 16 or if you trade down and try and pick up some additional picks and look for something later in the first round. I think there's probably some other areas where you have a little bit more of a need. Maybe the interior offensive line might be something to address it if you stay at number 16. But for right now, there's a lot of focus on the quarterbacks. I don't think linebacker is going to be something that they address in the draft, at least, with one of those higher picks. I think you're going to be more looking at offensive line, maybe interior defensive line. And yeah, of course, the quarterbacks are going to get a lot of attention right now.
Tim, let's stick with that linebacker position group. You've already lost Jordan Brooks to the Miami Dolphins. Everyone seemed to be thinking in Seahawks circles, maybe you're going to have a shot at Queen. He's obviously going to the Steelers. Did Seattle miss on some of these free agents that they wanted to sign or re-sign? Or was it the plan all along, let the first couple days go, don't make pitches to sign some of the big names, but if they don't, there's going to be other people that you can go and find later on, much like Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, it's always been kind of John Schneider's MO, even when it was Pete Carroll that was working alongside him, that they never really got that active in the first day of free agency. And I think last year when they went and got Draymond Jones on the first day and threw him a lot of money, that was kind of the outlier. And I don't know you could make the argument that maybe has not paid off in the way that you were hoping it would during his first year. So the kind of wait and see approach that it looks like they're taking right now has kind of been their MO throughout, most of Schneider's tenure as the GM here. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different because he's got a little bit more of influence and power now than he had previously, but it seems like they're following that similar path this time around. So I think there's still some guys out there in free agency that might be of interest. I think a guy like Devin White kind of makes a lot of sense at this point because you need some bodies at linebacker, and he kind of fits the mold of a Patrick Queen, a guy who was kind of thought to be, not necessarily a bust, but not filling all of his potential. And then he went to Baltimore, and Mike McDonald made him into a star. So I think Devin White kind of makes a lot of sense at this point, but there's some other guys out there who they can backfill, and maybe from a financial standpoint, they give themselves some more flexibility to do something else down the road.
AP writer out of Seattle, Tim Booth, joins us. Good friend of Will. You guys speak on panels together, huh? You all smarties over there?
Well, it's that central bond, that central connection.
Bloodline.
Yeah.
Tim, I want to talk a little bit about Mike McDonald as he comes in, and there's kind of some little mojo around him that he, as respected as he is around the league, he may be able to attract free agents just based on him himself. Can you shed any light on that? Is that true? Does that stuff really work in the NFL, or does it at the end of the day just mean the almighty dollar?
I think at the end of the day, people care about the results, and I think people look at what he did last year, especially in Baltimore, and sort of the reputation that he's gained around the league, even though he's so young, and that's probably what the attraction is. Like with with Pete Carroll, the attraction was, he was new and he was a player's coach and he was, and then obviously they had success early on, and then that led to Seattle becoming the destination. I think with Mike McDonald, the attraction is going to be more the idea of, look at the results that he had in Baltimore. Look how damn good that defense was under him. He's young. He kind of gets the new age player a little bit, or the player in this day and age of the NFL. And then if he can have the similar results in Seattle, then that's going to create that attraction and create that draw even more. But right now it's just based around, he was great in Baltimore as a defensive coordinator. He's young. He took, guys like Patrick Queen or Roquan Smith, for example, and turned them into stars on that defense. And so I think that's probably more the attraction that people are pointing to right now, because they don't have the track record yet of what he can do as a head coach with the Seahawks. But that's the opportunity that is before him going into this his first season.
ESPN's Louis Riddick has started beating the drum over the last day or so that the Seahawks need to go get Justin Fields, and he fits into that offense. They have one quarterback, let him go and compete. Is this Louis Riddick creating storylines, or are you actually hearing real smoke that Seattle might go after Justin Fields? I mean, he's following all the wide receivers on Instagram. That has to mean something, right?
Well, yes, we're doing Instagram follow investigations at this point to see what's going on. I mean,
hey, we do it in college football. Why not just transfer to the NFL?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's not the worst idea. I mean, it really isn't. I mean, you've got a situation where you don't have a guy behind Geno Smith, and if you feel like either at 16 or by moving around, because Seattle doesn't have the capital really to move up, to go up and get, a Drake May or a J.J. McCarthy or whoever, if they feel like those guys are going to be gone by the time they get to 16. And we all know that John Schneider likes trading down in the draft and collecting more picks and having guys, having opportunities in the second, third, fourth rounds to find some of those gems, especially right now when they need to backfill the roster a little bit. It lends me to think that that's more likely the path that they will take when the draft comes. Now, if you don't feel like at 26 or at 28 or 32 or somewhere in the second round, you feel like you can get your next quarterback, then Justin Fields does make a lot of sense, because he's not going to cost a lot. He's going to cost you a fourth or a fifth round pick at this point to bring him in. And maybe, he's still got the fifth-year option available. You can bring him in as a developmental guy behind Geno Smith. You can let him, play it out for a year and then make a decision moving forward. So you can get out of Geno's contract pretty easily after this year. So as much as that might be Louis Riddick kind of creating the story at this point, it kind of makes some sense. I kind of get the idea behind it, and it might be the better move in terms of trying to find your future quarterback than trying to manage this year's draft to get a guy that you're hoping to land.
All right, Tim, you're on your way to Vegas to cover the final Pac-12 basketball tournament, and I got to ask a homer question for you. Can my Cougs complete the trilogy, beat Arizona, and win a Pac-12 title?
I don't think they can. I don't think they can do it a third time. I think right now they look really tired. Watching them play against Washington in the regular season finale, they looked tired. Andre Jakimovsky's beat up right now. I think Miles Rice has hit a little bit of a wall, sort of late here in the season. I think teams have been more physical with him, and I think he's kind of worn down a little bit. So I do think the Cougs make the title game. I think they win their first round game. I think they win their semifinal. And I think the bigger thing for them, this is your homer little thing of the day. I think the bigger thing for them, I think if they get to the final, I think playing in Spokane for the first round of the NCAAs comes back into play for them, which I think would be on top of all the accomplishments they've had this year. I think getting a chance to do that would be just an incredible cherry on top of everything they've done this season.
Any chance Kyle Smith's back next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Kyle is trying to quickly get out of Pullman. I think he likes Pullman. I think he likes the opportunity. I think he likes the idea of going into the West Coast Conference and maybe having an easier path for the next couple of years to get to the tournament than what they faced in the Pac-12 in the grand scheme, or even if they had gone to the Mountain West. So my sense is I don't see Kyle Smith leaving Coleman after this year.
That's what I wanted to hear, brother. Thank you much. That is Tim Booth. He's the AP writer out of Seattle. You're on your way to Vegas, buddy. Fly safe.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim. Go Cats.